everyone. I'm Alex Kessler at Kess Internet, and you're watching Spicy Play. And now I'm going to make the Disney Mickey Mouse TV screen. This is a show where I'm going to eat this habanero pepper, and it's the first time I've ever eaten a habanero pepper. I'm not like new to spice, but I hate peppers, like the taste of them, like the flavor of a pepper. So that's going to be a part of this experience. Thank you so much for having me on. We're going to be talking about the my Kess deck. But if you want to know where I'm at Kess Wiley on all things, including TikTok, and also the host of the Masters of Modern podcast, the MMcast. And I'm currently doing a Kickstarter right now for these drop.d20s. We actually just funded yesterday as of time recording. We raised 20,000, but now we're trying to get to the stretch goals. The first one is a blue and white called Winter Orb, which I'm going to need after eating this habanero pepper to cool down. So definitely check that out. And we're aiming for maybe even 40,000 to be able to do all 6 different D&D shaped dice from D6 to D4 to D20 to D12, etc. So definitely check that out. There's a link below, along with a link for this deck list. This is my Kess Dissident Mage deck. This is the deck that I first previewed on the Command Zone when I previewed this card the first time, and then have been modifying ever since. I have a CDH version, I have a casual version, but this is the main body of the deck. So I'll be covering it more thoroughly once I'm dying, which you all get to experience. So before I get started, the commander is Kess Dissident Mage, or Descendant Mage, depending on who you talk to. Kess Dissident Mage is 1 blue, black, red, legendary creature, human wizard, 3/4 flyer. During each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. That is very specific timing that we'll talk about, some cool mechanics that let me play around with that. But first, I'm going to jump into this pepper, and it's gonna be fun. It. I'm terrified. I'm terrified. Try 2. All right, pinkies up. Let's do this. So Kess Dissident Mage is a deck that is meant specifically to play sorceries and stuff out of your graveyard. Now, there's a few things that I'm cheating with. There's ways that it interacts with mechanics that classically people wouldn't think about. One of them is buyback. So if I play a card from my graveyard and I use its buyback cost, I will bring it back into play. And am I trying not to drink, or as soon as I need the drink, I should just drink milk? All right, cool. I gotta do it again. So buyback lets you do that. Also, so any kind of spells you can cast, all the different cantrips are really good with Kess. The more spells in your graveyard, so it ends up having a spell theme. Specifically, the way the deck is trying to win is with a buyback card. So it's trying to have a combo of Reiterate and a spell like Mana Geyser. So by being able to make 10 mana, I can use Reiterate to cast it, buy it back, copy the spell again, make infinite mana, and then I have a bunch of different infinite mana sinks. With those infinite mana sinks, I'm able to do a lot of really powerful things.
I don't like that. Put your tongue back in your mouth. Put your tongue in your mouth and close it.
So the other buyback spells that are really fun, I have Forbid and Capsize. Both of these are just really good control cards. One of the cool parts about Forbid is the buyback of having the discard cards ends up not having to be that bad, because you're able to just discard cards that you can cast again with Kess. So that also is why I'm playing with a lot of loot effects like Faithless Looting, Frantic Search, Factor Fiction, etc. These are all really good ways to gain card advantage, and Kess lets you kind of rebuy them. The other kind of main win conditions of the deck is a little storm-based, so stuff like Niv, Mizzet, Perun, Aetherflux Reservoir, and Thousand Year Storm, all kind of will eventually let you generate enough value that you'll be able to win with the spells that you're casting. Okay, but what do you do when you have infinite mana? We're getting through this. What you do with infinite mana is you have cards like Den of the Bugbear. So if you have infinite mana with Den of the Bugbear, you can actually activate Den of the Bugbear infinite times. And every single time it gets an additional part of the text where until end of turn, Den of the Bugbear becomes a 3/2 red goblin creature with whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature attacking and attacking. So every time you activate it, when you attack, will generate an additional 1/1. So you make infinite 1/1s on an attack step, attack with the lamp. That's one of the win conditions. Another one is Merchant of the Veil. So Merchant of the Veil is an adventure card. So you can haggle, you can discard a card and draw a card, which we mentioned is already really good. You can also 2 red, discard a card, draw a card. Just activate ability. And so this, with infinite red mana, lets you draw your entire deck, which then, there's a Vassal Oracle in here. That's one of the main win conditions of the deck. We're playing CDH here. I'm going to take some of this milk. Just as my tongue specifically was hurting. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay. Stuff like Aetherflux Reservoir, 1,000 Year Storm, and Mizzet, I already mentioned you get to play and win with. One of the other things you get to do if you have infinite mana, you can cast Epic Experiment for X equals how many cards are left in your deck. Once you have all your deck totally in your graveyard or cast, you then get to reanimate using Kess, the Thassa's Oracle, and win that way. It plays, instead of ramp in our classic ramp, it plays the signets, but it also is playing Seething Songs and Dark Rituals because Kess gets to take advantage of those. I got it. All right, and then how does he get all these cards? Because it's very specific. You need specific cards at one time. So Kess is playing a bunch of tutors. Has a whole tutor suite. So it has Entomb, which lets you put stuff directly in your graveyard, Gamble, Demonic Tutor, Dark Petition, Mystical Tutor, and Spellseeker, all great at finding the different pieces you need to win. I mentioned that it does cool stuff with buyback. Another mechanic that Kess does that people don't even know or actually have gotten arguments with the rules manager of Magic with is adventure cards. So adventure cards are, Haggle was one of them. Other ones that the deck are playing are, let me find them so I can talk directly about them. That's my mouth. Brazen Borrower and Stonecrusher Giant. Those are cards that because so Kess only checks if a spell that you're casting from your graveyard is an instant or sorcery upon entering the stack, not before you cast it. It's not a target ability. So like Snapcaster Mage can't target a adventure side of an adventure creature, but Kess allows you to because you choose what you're casting before Kess checks if it's legal. So you can actually cast the instant side and then cast the creature, and then if you have a sack outlet or it dies, like High Market or Phyrexian Tower, which I'm playing, you can then sack it, put it in your graveyard, and then loop that effect. So stuff like Bonecrusher Giant is really good because if people have different ways to prevent damage, you can use it to kill people. Brazen Borrower obviously is one of the best ways to just bounce threats and things in your way because it hits any non-land target. Now you might be asking how I stay alive. So I have a bunch of, this is a control deck. One of the nice things about this is it plays at most power levels because other than CDH, I have a Kess CDH deck for specifically that, but most like levels of casual because it's playing a control game. I am not planning on winning anytime soon. I'm here to make sure that you guys don't win as I slowly fill my graveyard with what I need to win. It has a full suite of different removal spells, including the adventure cards, but Capsize, Damnation, Force of Will, Counterspell, Toxic Deluge for board wipes, Fierce Guardianship, Cryptic Command, Chaos Warp, Cyclonic Rip, All's Dust, and Vandal Blast. All's Dust is really important because Grixis can't get rid of enchantments, so it's really helpful, especially if there's like really powerful graveyard hate in play. The other big category is what I call the like snake in the grass. So Kess can get wrecked by people just adjacently attacking her because she doesn't play a lot of creatures. Most of the spells in the deck are spells, instants and sorceries, or non-creature spells. So it plays Force Field, Ensnaring Bridge, and Propaganda and Mazavith, all of which make it so it's really hard to attack Kess just adjacently with creatures so she can keep her life total up. Ensnaring Bridge is funny because I'm actually drawing a lot of cards, but just like stopping forward power or better is really good. A lot of times in Commander, you're not worried about 1/1s and 2/2s, or even 4/4s. You're worried about the like Crater Hoof Behemoth attack, and Ensnaring Bridge is really good at turning that off. But that's not working. Propaganda is good at stopping the little ones. Also playing with Mazavith and Force Field to target specific creatures that not take damage. Other cool, fun things that it's doing, like the shout out. One of like the weird main win conditions is actually one of the ways I've won most often is something like Runechanter's Pike. So because I'm just putting so many spells in my graveyard and Kess is a flying 3/4 with evasion, Runechanter's Pike just can kill people with commander damage really easy. It's not hard for me to have more than 20 spells in my graveyard and then 18 spells in my graveyard. And then now Kess is just a one-hit Voltron commander with that card. Other cute things, it plays Displacer Kitten and Deadeye Navigator. Both of them allow Kess to blink itself every time you cast a spell from your graveyard, and it then restarts her limitation of once per turn. So you can now just cast for as many mana as you have and as many spells in your graveyard, you can just keep casting them. And Deadeye Navigator turns cast into a Snapcaster Mage. Speaking of which, I am playing a lot of those. Yeah, that's actually the majority of the deck. There's a list below. It's a blast. I've been tuning this for a really long time. There's like stuff that you can do with it that's really interesting. You can play, I have one time work effect. You can go really deep on extra turns because Kess just like lets you chain those really well. You know, it's one of my favorite decks that I've ever made. I've gone to preview this card twice because my name is attached to it, which I love it as well. And I'm a big fan of a Snapcaster Mage variant. If you liked this show, definitely hit the subscribe button down below. There's a bunch of other cool content creators coming on and having to do with this, and all of them are going to do way worse than I did. I'm a champion. I didn't even have to drink anything other than that one time we're not going to talk about. Habaneros are way easier than I thought. I was like shaking in my boots before this started. As I said at the beginning, check out the Drop.D20 Kickstarter. We're like funded, so now it's all about all of the sweet stuff that you can unlock, and by unlocking stuff, you give all the people that backed already the ability to unlock stuff. One of the first things after the Winter Orb, which is the blue-white Azorius flavored, not flavored, it's forbidden fruit, don't eat. Dice is a spin down, so if you want one of these to keep your life counter, which is one of my favorite ways to use them, that's one of the next unlocks too, so definitely check it out. And if you don't, they feel really great. There are these soft spikes, they bounce, it's been really awesome doing this Kickstarter and launching it and going so well. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Definitely check out my list. If you have any questions or cool cards, please comment them below. I'd love to see different cards that you want. I want the spicy tech, which, you know, #TM copyright for the show. And thank you so much for having me on.